I got to bring this post up. I was looking for the right post about this Trump Zoran Mamdani meeting. And I'm asking Republicans, when it comes to Donald Trump, can you, after this meeting with Zoran Mamdani, can you tell me a time when Donald Trump has been as friendly, as gracious with the most fiscally conservative, ideologically consistent Republicans in the House and the Senate, that being Rand Paul and Thomas Massie? He is literally at war with these two guys. He is literally trying to primary Thomas Massie out of Congress. He has been nothing but hostile towards Rand Paul. I don't care if you're a Democrat, because you're not supposed to agree with those guys, and this should make you happy. But if you are a Republican who voted for Trump, who's got a red hat somewhere in their house, I'm asking you, when are you going to realize the truth that you've been had? It's like they say, it's easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled. There's nothing in Donald Trump's history, and I have said this going back to his first term, there is nothing in Donald Trump's history or anything that he said when it came to economics that made me think he was anything but a 90s Democrat. Mass deportation, Bill Clinton. Protectionist trade policies, the Democrats. This is what he does. We have the federal government literally taking stakes in private companies. Literal socialism. The government trying to take the means of production. Literally taking ownership stakes in private companies, as if that's going to be a policy reverse, as if the government intervening in the private marketplace is something that they turn around and go, maybe this wasn't a good idea. That's only going to be something they do more and more and more. And what happens is you create a tax and regulatory policies that put these companies in trouble, and then you take partial ownership of them under the guise of national security, and then now they're federalized. And that is literally what Donald Trump is doing. No desire from the Republicans in Congress or the Senate to actually cut real spending. Their big battle right now is, hey, we have to let these temporary Medicare cuts actually be temporary. That's their big fight right now. I've been a critic of Donald Trump in his economics from the very beginning. And I have said he's a 90s Democrat from the very beginning, that he is a big spender from the very beginning, and he is living up to all those things. He tricked his supporters into thinking he was something he was not. What do I mean by that? He was rushed into the White House. He gathered all this support, not based on his economic policies. He kind of lied to you about Doge, made you think that he was going to radically cut spending. And Rand Paul asked for him to send a reconciliation package for all that fraud, waste, and abuse to Congress so they could take the money back, and he didn't do it. We find $500 billion in fraud, waste, and abuse, and we cut $9 billion from the budget in reconciliation. He's got the majority in the House and the Senate. Where are the cuts? Why didn't we do Doge? Because he is a tax and spending Democrat. And he's been going after the people he should be, if he was being honest, allying himself with. But he was, back to my point, he was brought into the White House on the culture war, not on his economics. Aside from like the late edition of Doge, it was the culture war that got him there. It was DEI and anti-immigration and trans issues and so on. So stuff that really only matters to a very tiny percentage of Americans is what got him elected. And when I say matters, I mean actually impacts your day-to-day life. That's what got him into the office. And from an economic perspective, he is not making things better. Tariffs are going to make things worse. I don't understand how this is hard for people to understand. It's Republicans understand, or people who understand economics in general, understand that the corporate tax is something that's paid by the consumer across the board. If there's a Walmart that pays $20,000 in property taxes or whatever in the town that they're in, they're not paying that. You are. You pay their corporate tax, you pay their employee wages, you pay their electric bill, you pay their gas bill. All corporate expenses are covered by the revenue generated by the consumer. All of it. That's how they make profit. That includes tariffs. And I have Republicans fighting me on this because their guy passed this policy, and so they can't look at it from a logical perspective and go, well, and they say things like, we're going to bring those jobs back to the United States. Okay, it's still going to cost consumers more because the reason those jobs aren't in the United States right now is because it's cheaper to do those jobs and bring those products in from someplace else than it is here. So you're taking that lower cost option off the field. Second, most of these jobs aren't going to be jobs. They're going to be automated. Look at my content from 7 years ago, 8 years ago, however long ago it was, on Foxconn in Wisconsin. I was telling people in Wisconsin the exact same thing, and everything that I said was going to happen with that project happened. That is an automated factory that never made its hiring goals after snatching up a bunch of government handouts and subsidies and tax breaks that other Wisconsin businesses didn't get. So he is tariffing in an attempt to reindustrialize the United States. When if you wanted to reindustrialize the United States, you'd make our regulatory environment competitive, make our tax environment competitive, stop talking about eating the rich and all these taxes, stop taking ownership in private companies. We're not taking those steps. We're not making it more competitive to do business in the United States. We're not making it cheaper to do business in the United States. That in the long run is not good economic policy. We're not cutting spending. We're borrowing and printing trillions of dollars a year. He's doing nothing conservative, and he's palling up. Seems much more comfortable and much more at ease to a socialist mayor who just got elected in New York than he does to the most fiscally conservative and ideologically consistent Republicans in the House and the Senate. And I want an answer from Republicans as to why you are still backing Donald Trump.